Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So just as you thought things couldn't get any worse for Democrats in the Senate, well, you were proven wrong. In fact, we did a video yesterday talking about their issues with candidate recruitment, their issues with a lot of these people retiring. Republicans are actually getting their strong recruits this cycle, which they didn't really get in a lot of places in 2022. Well, now you're seeing the shoe on the other foot. Democrats having problems in Michigan. Democrats having problems in Georgia. Democrats now have problems in a little bit of a blue state, Minnesota, which is a blue state, but it's not super blue. But Democrats usually win it, even in a bad year. But still, it is a seat they're going to have to defend, and the incumbent senator has decided not to run for re-election. Is she like 80? Is she 70? No, she's in her 60s. You saw this with Gary Peters in Michigan. Usually you think it'd be a slam dunk election to run and win, and to be fair, probably Tina Smith would win if she ran for re-election, but she's not going to because Democrats are just demoralized. They're in the minority. A lot of people just don't want to be in the governing minority. And you're seeing a lot of people on the Democrat side just decide to call it quits and hang it up and retire. And does that mean this seat's going to flip Republican? Maybe not. But Democrats are going to have to spend resources there in Minnesota that could have gone to Michigan or North Carolina or Georgia. They're already not going to retake the Senate. It's clear. You look at the map, it's virtually impossible for them to do. Even if they went out there and flipped Maine for some reason and won North Carolina, Georgia, and Michigan, and Minnesota, and New Hampshire, it still would not be enough for them. But we're talking about seats being on the table that nobody thought would be on the table. Republicans running Scott Brown in New Hampshire, solid recruit, most likely going to get that nomination. Now, is he going to win? Maybe not, but we still don't even know if Shaheen's going to run. She filed paperwork. That doesn't always mean everything, but that seat could be on the table. Now, Minnesota's on the table, potentially. We'll get to some of the potential Democrat replacements for Tina Smith in a second. But even like Virginia, let's say Mark Warner for some reason decided to retire. If Glenn Youngkin ran for that seat, it would be a possible pickup. Now, I'm not saying that that's the way it's going, but I'm just saying that the bottom could fall out even worse for the Democrats, and we didn't think Minnesota would be a seat that would be an open seat, but that's exactly what it's become, just like we didn't think Michigan would be an open seat, and now it seems as if Pete Buttigieg, who's the front runner, gets the nomination, he's probably going to lose to a generic Republican. It would be hilarious, but still, Minnesota, who's the possible replacement going to be? Because there's a lot of names that have been floated around. Well, obviously, I think we know. Tim Walz, Tampon Tim, the former VP nominee for the Democrats in 2024, who was a total embarrassment, is now considering a Senate run. Now, keep in mind, his popularity in the state as he's gotten involved in national politics and has had his record, exposed, it's just completely gone downhill. And Republicans, if they're going to be against Tim Walz in this race, there's going to be a lot of grassroots funding that would go directly to the Republican candidate. I don't know who that's going to be. If they can find somebody halfway decent to run for the Senate seat, it's possible they could win against somebody like a Tim Walz. Now, you have other people like Ilhan Omar potentially going to go for it. Somebody like Keith Ellison potentially going to go for it. Tim Walz's own lieutenant governor seems to be more willing to jump in the race, although Tim Walz himself is also considering it. So you're also going to have this ridiculous, divisive primary on the Democrat side, most likely, regardless of whoever is going to get that nomination. And it's like that could damage the party in the general. If Republicans can unite behind somebody, find a decent candidate, yeah, they do stand a chance. I'm not saying they don't. This was something I'd consider probably likely Democrat. Now it's like lean close to toss-up, depending on what happens, depending on what Trump's approval rating is. But it seems like by the day, you're not seeing a blue wave. We're a long way away from the election. But Donald Trump, he continues to maintain popularity. And Democrats are just in disarray. They've become incompetent as Republicans have become more competent. And already the map is against them. but then they're dropping the balls. At least you could play defense. You could hold, Minnesota, hold Michigan, find a way to maybe even hold Georgia. You could hold the line. Maybe you could get to 49 Senate seats if you did everything properly, but it doesn't seem like the candidate recruitment for them is going anywhere in Maine. North Carolina, they don't even know if they could get Roy Cooper to run. He's probably one of the only candidates, if not the only candidate, that could really win them North Carolina. So you're seeing what's happening. And then you have Michigan, the drama there. Republicans getting their star recruits most likely in Georgia, New Hampshire, and now Minnesota's on the table. It's like every single day they take a new L. We are a long ways away. It's possible that they can win Minnesota, win Michigan, sweep the board. We don't know what it's going to be like in 2026. It's early. It's very early on, and that's true. But the fact that we're talking about Minnesota, like, we have to talk about it. Tampon Tim, they're going to trot him out there. Or Ilhan Omar. Those are candidates at this stage in the game possibly could lose the state. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but it's possible that we're talking about a competitive race depending on who Republicans can find on their side to run for it. Maybe the guy who ran for attorney general and almost won in 2022, maybe he would be the candidate that Republicans could find and run. But now there's just more defense the Democrats have to play, and another pickup opportunity for Republicans. It is true, Trump midterm, they say you're going to lose seats in the House, you're going to lose in the Senate, but is that even the case anymore? Is it even the case when it comes down to Trump having a positive approval rating? When it comes down to the fact that he can motivate a lot of people to the polls if he's going to be in office. And it seems like the Democrats haven't found that one issue like they did in 2018 to really hype up their own side, to get their own side out in voting. I just haven't really seen that. What is it exactly going to be? Even if you want to say, prices, inflation, whatever, that wasn't really enough for Republicans in 2022. And on top of it, it was way worse back then in terms of the rate of inflation. And also, they were in charge to oversee most of the initial inflation for 4 years. It's not really a topic they're going to be able to really have the moral high ground on. But you have issues that have salvaged them in the past, like abortion. They're kind of just, going away. It really just comes down to turnout in the midterms. It really does. But Democrats are in trouble. Republicans now, it's possible that you can go into some of these red states like Texas, primary out John Cornyn, primary out some of these, weak establishment rhino types, get your upgrades there, and then they're running candidates that are going to vote in line with the party 100% of the time that can win these swing states. It's like kind of a double-edged sword, and it also moves the Overton window, expands the majority at the same time. That's really the game plan for 2026 altogether for the Republicans. And if they're able to do that, Trump's last 2 years are going to be just as successful, because we owe it to the guy to have a trifecta so he's actually able to get things done. Because you could see what happens when you don't have enough seats in the Senate. A lot of these people have been at risk in terms of Trump's cabinet not getting in, although it does seem like the whole cabinet is going to be confirmed. RFK Jr. was confirmed today as the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Of course, it was only Mitch McConnell, the Republican, to join the entire Democrat caucus. Interesting that he's choosing to have his Senate career die on this hill, literally, as we're seeing it, by just being somebody that's going to be the contrarian that stabs Trump in the back on his way out. That's what's going on. We know that. But RFK Jr.'s in. Tulsi Gabbard, as of yesterday, she's in. Seems like Kash Patel's going to be in as well. Pete Hegseth was the one that had the most trouble getting across the finish line, although he was confirmed. So a lot of victories for Trump. A lot of victories for the Republicans that we're seeing here already. Now, legislative-wise, we're probably going to get into that within the next month, and we're going to see how that goes. And if they don't step on any third rails, well, you very well could be looking at an asterisk midterm. Of course, the Senate map is very easy. Even in like a good year for Democrats, they're only probably going to end up with like 48, maybe 49, probably not even seats at this stage in the game. Probably 47, 48 is like what they should be aiming for, at least as things stand now. The governorships, the map is beneficial for Republicans. It seems Democrats have more to defend there. And in terms of the House, Democrats are close to being maxed, they can easily retake it. That's true, but with possible mid-decade redistricting in Ohio and in Texas, maybe in a couple of other states, Republicans might make things a little bit more difficult. And it's also true, Democrats maxed out in a lot of places in California. Not saying they can't hold those seats, but there's not as many pickup opportunities as they originally thought. And if Republicans can get their strong recruits at the top of the ticket that are going to perform well enough to carry some of these down ballot candidates, yeah, they could end up with the House. They could end up with more state legislatures than they have now. It's very early, but is it possible? Yes, it is. But one thing we do know is it would take like a drastic, devastating development for Trump's presidency for 2026 to be a 2018 repeat. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.